Alright, welcome back with Lord Fishy with that fresh, fishy flavor in your ear. That's right. Now, we're going to have to start off today. We're going to have to make a small adjustments to our tires because I spotted an issue. Our nuts are not going to be long enough on our one part here. So, probably click it from the back, go into edit mode, click off of it, hit L over the bolts. 2, 3, 4. And we got two choices. We could lengthen them here, obviously. And we can go around and do every single tire one by one. Try to make sure you're going to have enough room to get your tire on. And still have enough room to bolt it on after, right? But the problem's going to be is matching them on each one. So now that I've done that, if I click out, it's still one part because I didn't separate them. Just make sure I didn't pull my bolts out. I did not. So I think what we're going to have to do is go around and replace them on all tires. Yeah, it's hard, it sucks, all that stuff, but we'll do it anyways just because it'll be a little easier than trying to resize them all. Right, these are different too. I guess we're going to have to do the back as well. We'll try to resize the bolts on it because I forgot we got an axle back here. Okay, so click off everything over the bolts in edit mode. Okay. And we're just going to make them longer. So scalar. Again, try to guess around where the other one is. You can go over and check it to make sure the length is the same. But we're just going to guessify it. I'm going to say something like that. That's what it looks like up there. Alright, so we're going to have to replace this one. Actually, let's go to edit and make sure we're still in place. This way. Don't know how far those bolts go in there now. They look like they're just sticking out the back. Might have to adjust it a little bit. You get the point. Once you're done, out of edit mode, we're going to have to delete the one on the other side. So delete. Grab this one again. Now with our adjustment, Shift D. So made a -90. And we just got to figure out the axis now. It's going to be the top one. We'll add a 0. Sorry, minus. I don't know why I say 0, but when I mean minus. I have to delete this one. Okay. Grab this one. Shift D it. Alright. It's going to be a -90. And you see once again why keeping everything on its axis becomes so important for lining things up later. Alright, and we're back. We're good. We're back in place. We're back where we need to be. So, next we can go for the car body, or we can start making the radiator, but I'm going to go ahead and make an alternator. And we'll make one or two more parts. We'll wrap it up for the episode's not too long, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one. But let's get this done first. I think it's this one. It is perfect. So alternator. Probably going to want to think about this for a second. Make sure you do it the right way. I'm going to move it up here. It's going to border over the front. So I'm going to Shift D and make a second one. And we could extract, but it's probably going to give you guys coloring issues. So we're going to do it this way to make it a little better. So it shouldn't have any coloring issues. The texture and the scales is a little bit different, so that may cause some small issues, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Especially something like this, you're probably just going to want to color it like a steel color, maybe a little scuffed up or something. Alright, so I just made that a little bit bigger than the one behind it. Shift D again. And I'm just trying to give it some kind of texture to make it look more like a part, basically. Oh, I pushed D. I hope that didn't do anything. Alright. I'm going to stretch this out. D again. Sorry, S again. Now I'm just going to push D every time. And we're just making a little arm that's going to twist, basically. If you want, you can bool a hole out if you'd rather. If you'd rather a hole be there, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just going to make it a little longer, like so. It's buried a bit in there. That's fine. The point is that we're going to have to make some parts to make a belt connect all these things for when the engine turns the alternator, which recharges your battery. And this is obviously going to twist your fan, and we're missing one more part. I'll think of it. Let's just bump this in for now. Get it to around where we want it to be. When you're happy with the positioning, we're going to have to think about how we want that to mount there. There's a couple different ways we could do it. I think I got a clever way that we'll try. That involves some awesome squares that I know you guys just love so much. I think we're okay to go ahead and attach these. I don't plan on booleaning anything to it. We can always break it apart. Don't know where my control point should be. I guess I'm going to make it here, so we can Control J. Alright, and what are we going to want to do? We're going to have an electrical connection on the back and a pulley on the front. So, I have to make a pulley there too. We're missing one part. What is the other part? Not the starter. Starter's going to go somewhere else. Sorry, just thinking here. Water pump. That's what it's going to be. Alright. I knew it was something. So we'll make a pulley. Shift A. Go ahead and make a cylinder again because we ruined our old ones by attaching them. That's probably why we didn't want to attach them. It's no big deal. Get it around the same spot. 90. That'll help us get it in place. It should be almost the same size. A little bit smaller, so make sure the edges aren't hanging out. That should help you center it. Match the gap. Perfect. I think that's about perfect. Next time I won't attach them. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, made a second one. Trying to think of how this is going to be. Okay. Now let's move that one off this one for we can shape this one a little bit. Normally I would use some bools and stuff, but apparently that's a bad idea for a few reasons. It's teaching you guys some bad lessons, I guess. Sorry, normally I'd use an extraction, but we'll bool it to avoid those issues is what I meant to say. Okay, let's copy this again before we do anything. Be smart. Okay, and then we're going to take this one, we're going to make it a little bigger. This. And then we're going to shrink it really small this way. So it's even smaller than that one. Okay. And then we're going to copy it again. What are we going to do here? Shift D, copy this one. Wheel it out. So I'm going to punch this hole out of here. And there's a reason we're doing all this. I'm just thinking it out for we don't run into troubles when we make this. We got to make the right piece to punch out the right shape now. It's getting a little complicated. So now, move this to a piece over here that we know this same size. Make sure it's centered. Okay. What I'm going to try to do is make a little groove that we're going to run a belt on. Okay, so make it as thick as you want your belt to be. You have to make the part underneath a little thicker. Go ahead. Make it fit your design, so to say. Okay, I'm going to go like that. And now we're going to shrink it. Shrink it, shrink it, shrink it till it's almost flush. Okay. And And we're going to bool it out of there. And it's going to give us that groove that we need, and the look we need. And it should still texture just right like we need. So we should have our perfect piece now. There's something we're missing. That's what I should have done. I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to steal this piece right here. We're just going to hit L over it, Shift D, and then P, and then selection. Alright, get out of there. Normally I wouldn't steal a piece like that, but we needed it. Click it twice, you should get the right one. It's going to dig for the second one at that point. And we're going to bool it out of there as well. Difference. Okay? So now what we have is a pulley that fits exactly right here. Okay? Now, say you wanted a nut to go on the end. Let's undo a little bit. This might be a better, smarter thing to do is just add a nut too, right? So I'm just going to take that piece before I use it for a bool, copy it, drag it off to the side, then we will use that original for the bool. Difference, okay? And it's just a lot easier if you keep them lined up and just recycle the piece, then you don't have to try to match it and make it fit again like I had to earlier. You want to make it a little bit bigger, for there's a little bit of a gap in there. There you go. Okay. Shift D this, S this, make it bigger. You know what? I want to use a square for this. We'll just do this. We'll just do this. So click to get the inside one. Make it go all the way through. If you're going to need it again, maybe copy it, but I don't think we're going to need that piece again. I'll probably be wrong, because it's a video. That's the way she goes. Check it out, like that. Alright, click the inside, click the outside. Bool, difference. Take this piece, and it'll be the piece that seals us on. If you want to make it a nut instead, just use a square and probably one bevel line, and it should be pretty good. If you so want, mention it in the comments and I'll come back and I'll replace that with a bolt, but we're gonna have to make some bolts over here anyways, so we might just do that anyways. Same with this, we'll probably replace this one piece at the very end with a bolt. But just for if you're making it free, you can pull it out of your game. But I believe I showed you guys how to make a bolt earlier. I used it somewhere or another. Oh, probably here. But, oh yeah, right there. But I will do it again maybe. We'll quickly make a water pump, and this is where we're going to use our square, I guess. Shift A. Deck that I just make. Okay, delete that. Make a square, like I said. Sorry about that. Oh, I made a plane or a capsule? Interesting. Okay. We're going to need a couple versions of this, so let's just copy it, move it down before we do anything. That way we have a square handy. Alright, decide what your water pump's going to look like. I'll decide what mine's going to look like. Shift D, I'm going to need an extra one of these the way I'm going to do it. So, the way I'm going to do it, let's go into edit mode. This end is going to be much smaller, so I'm going to use S to shrink it. It's going to lean on an angle, but it's going to go almost straight out of the top, like that. Okay? You do yours the way you think a water pump looks to you. Everybody's going to have a different version, obviously. So do what makes sense to you. I'm going to go with something like this. And I'm going to go back into edit. Hit A to highlight it all. Control B. And we're just going to give it a little bit of a bevel. Ooh, that didn't come out so great. So I'm going to have to go back. Let's make that a little wider. It's causing me a bit of issues. Go just a hair. If it's too small, when you start beveling, you won't be able to go very far with the bevel before you start running into issues. Maybe we'll do this too. We'll just shrink this a bit as well. Go up after until you're levelish. Alright, you're going to take your time more than me, obviously. A to highlight the whole thing. Hopefully we can do a bit more of a bevel. Still get a pretty flat edge. Add some segments, of course. As many as you want to get the look you're looking for. If you want to make some kind of pipe that comes out of here, because this is going to be where your radiator pump is, basically. That's fine. Okay. This is the shape I want. You use the shape you need. Okay. I'll probably bump it up like so. And then we're going to have to do some work to make it look more like a water pump. Maybe put a fan as well. Going to need a pulley that lines up with the other pulleys. So yeah, we could steal this shape again, I guess. We're going to have to make some bolts, and we're going to have to make some mounts. But let's see how far we want to go today. Let's grab this piece, go in edit mode again, L over that, Shift D. Let's steal it again. Selection, click out, click away, click on, grabbed it, perfect. Okay. Put it a little higher towards the top because we don't want it to collide with our lower one. And since we only moved it straight up, you know what? Let's do something here. Let's go undo, undo, undo. And then Shift D this. And then once we got the inside one, we'll click this one and move them up together to make sure it's perfectly centered. Okay. Just watch on the back. Don't go up too far if you're coming out. Okay. And I think we got it. If you wanted to add that, could. Alright, if you want to add a fan in front of that, but we already have one, so I don't think we're going to need it. I'm going to need a pulley for this. So I think it's in line with this, I'm not sure, but let's check it out. Let's drag it over. Looks like it. We might be able to, yep, just hit 0 here, I think. Perfect, so we know we're perfectly in line now. So now we just need to make it fit S until it fits. You should see your hole start to open up a bit. There we go. And it should be in line this way. So now we have the mounts for our belt. We just need to seal these parts to the engine, put some bolts on them. Maybe we'll replace this one circle piece, this, and we'll put a bolt here. And that way if you're taking it apart in your game, you're able to use a wrench to take these parts apart, and it makes a little bit more sense than just having a circle there. Okay, so maybe we'll stop here for now. This is our 11th engine tutorial. So, I don't know, a lot of thinking burns me up pretty good, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're actually trying this and how it's going if you are. Make sure you like, subscribe, thumbs up. Check out our game on Steam, Fishton, A Town to Remember. Some really, really super cool updates just about to come out. Just to show you support if you like, or if you just want to try a new game. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you join me in the next episode where we'll get a little farther into the engine. Alright, thanks for watching.